You don't know where I stand on all things.
I would hope that was true.
Okay, let's talk about transgender issues. That's fun. What do you think I think about transgender issues?
I suspect that you think that gender expression, gender identity are fundamentally social constructs, but I could be wrong.
No.
Hey guys, and welcome back to YT News. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at Jordan Peterson's best arguments in debates. But first, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this and much more. Turn on notifications too so you don't miss out on a future video. Alright, let's just get right into this. A minister made a comment saying that there are a lot of old white men in the private and public company boards, but Jordan didn't agree and he hit back with one hell of a reply. Check this out.
You know, to hijack an event like this that other people put time and effort into, and to use their civility of the crowd and the civility of the organizers as an excuse to blatantly yell out your ill-informed opinions is no way to conduct a civil dialogue. It's absolutely appalling. The people who do that should be embarrassed.
I think this was the moment that the woman realised that Jordan Peterson is no walkover by any means. Here we have a clip in which the infamous Cathy Newman gets into an argument with Jordan Peterson about the correct terms to use for transgender people. And Peterson states that there weren't any laws, so he wouldn't use a correct term.
Very controversial for you. And this is, you got in trouble for refusing to call trans men and women by their preferred personal pronouns.
No, that's not actually true. I got in trouble because I said I would not follow the compelled speech dictates of the federal and provincial government. I actually never got in trouble for not calling anyone anything.
Right.
That didn't happen.
You wouldn't follow the change of law, which was designed
not
to
once it was
outlaw
law.
discrimination.
No.
Well,
that's what they said it was designed to do.
Okay, you cited free...
As the debate starts to get more heated, Peterson and Newman start getting into a screaming battle, in which Newman asks Peterson why his freedom of speech should trump the ability of transgender people not wanting to be offended.
Freedom of speech in that. Why should your right to freedom of speech trump a trans person's right not to be offended?
Because in order to be able to think, you have to risk being offensive. I mean, look at the conversation we're having right now. You know, like you're certainly willing to risk offending me in the pursuit of truth. Why should you have the right to do that? It's been rather uncomfortable.
Well, I'm very glad I put you on the spot.
Well,
I'm very glad that I have exercised my freedom of speech.
You get my point. It's like you're doing what you should do, which is digging a bit to see what the hell's going on. And that is what you should do.
In this clip, Jordan Peterson is on Reuben Reports, starts off by saying how even when the cameras are off, they still talk like they were still on. And Reuben also says that this has made him a better person. However, Jordan doesn't quite agree.
I know you guys pretty well at this point, and this crew of people that we're sort of in. When we're off camera, we're actually talking about the exact same things. Like we are, whether this camera was on right now or off, like we're living this thing all the time. I can speak from my own experience in this regard. It's made me a better person, and I'm still striving to be a better.
How?
I'm more authentic. I'm more honest.
No. Unforgivably stupid. And I can also see that, and I believe this to be the case, is that you just have failed developmentally. Neurological evidence.
Jordan goes as far as to say that Reuben has failed developmentally and says that he's also a child because he's dependent on his parents. He also said that the neurological evidence regarding this is quite clear.
Evidence in that regard is quite clear. If you're a child and you're dependent on your parents, you can't treat yourself properly. You can't have a relationship with another person. You can't stabilize your family. It's actually a developmental failure. You have to regrow an arm. It's really painful, you know? It's something like that, and that's the case. So,
wow, I have to reevaluate some of the things that I think.
And you live in hell unless you know them. The part of you that's wrong has to die, right? I mean, I'm hinting at physical threat.
It was reported that there won't be any jail time for using the wrong pronouns when addressing transgender people, but rather there will be a fine instead that you would have to pay. Jordan was asked about this and his answer was pretty funny. Take a look at this.
Use may become actionable through the human rights tribunals and the courts. And the remedies? Monetary damages, non-financial remedies, for example, ceasing the discriminatory practice or reinstatement to the job, and public interest remedies, for example, changing hiring practices or developing non-discriminatory policies and procedures. Jail time is not one of them. Jordan, you're not going to go to jail if you keep this up. Do you find that reassuring?
What if I don't pay the fine?
He wasted no time. He answered the questions by asking whether he doesn't want to pay the fines. He wouldn't have accepted jail time, but it's more hilarious that he also finds the fine really ridiculous. Jordan Peterson was doing an interview with a person who thinks the world is ruled by men and says that there are male privileges all over the world. Jordan Peterson, on the other hand, disagrees and quickly killed the whole argument.
I mean, that's my idea of the patriarchy, which is a system of male dominance of society.
Yeah, but that's not my sense of the patriarchy.
So what's yours?
Well, in what sense is our society male-dominated?
The fact that the vast majority of wealth is owned by men, the vast majority of capital is owned by men. Women do more unpaid labour.
Very tiny proportion of men, and a huge proportion of people who are seriously disaffected are men. Most people in prison are men. Most people who are on the street are men. Most victims of violent crime are men.
Jordan states that men also have the worst things happen to them. And this woman is only talking about a small percentage of men, claiming that the small percentage accounts for all men.
Victims of violent crime are men. Most people who commit suicide are men. Most people who die in wars are men. People who do worse in school are men. It's like, where's the dominance here precisely? What you're doing is you're taking a tiny substrata of hyper-successful men and using that to represent the entire structure of Western society. There's nothing about that that's vaguely appropriate.
But I could say equally well that most rape victims are women. Terrible things happen to people of both sexes.
And you could say that with perfect utility, but that doesn't provide any evidence for the existence of a male-dominated.
Jordan Peterson was in another interview on British GQ, and he made an interesting statement about the interviewer, saying that he already knows where she stands in certain issues. So she challenged him, and this is what he had to say.
You don't know where I stand on all things.
I would hope that was true.
Okay, let's talk about transgender issues. That's fun. What do you think I think about transgender issues?
I suspect that you think that gender expression, gender identity are fundamentally social constructs.
As he finished, she said no, he was wrong, but she does not suggest that Jordan was wrong at all.
No, I believe that there are definitely some biological differences between the sexes. We've observed them. I do believe that gender is a hugely powerful social structure that we've built on top of that it is largely, but not entirely, socially constructed. I think when you look back through the history, biological differences have consistently shrunk, like we were talking in the 80s.
They haven't in Scandinavia, they've magnified.
Well, she made herself look stupid, hasn't she? She couldn't admit that Jordan was correct about her. Better luck next time, I guess. One day someone was really out to tarnish Jordan Peterson's name and asked some questions that implied lots of things about him. It quickly turned into a quite heated argument.
Would you like to disavow the physical violence? Trans people were physically assaulted at this rally in your name. Would you like to disavow that violence?
Yes.
So you wish that didn't happen, and you want to, and I'm going to post this online, that you would like people to not to be more accommodating of trans people and people of color at your events in future.
I would like there to be no violence.
I'm a person of color, and I felt very accommodating. I felt like my voice. Thank you very much.
I'm also a Muslim, and I feel like this guy's
I'm a person of color. There are many Muslims.
You wanted to.
Jordan made many efforts to put such nonsense accusations to bed, but instead he had others doing that for him, and it made the other person questioning Jordan look pretty damn stupid. Those are some of the Jordan Peterson's best arguments in debates. Which one was your favourite? Let us know down in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys did enjoy, then make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to see more content like this. Hit that bell notifications too so you never miss out on a future video. We'll see you guys next time, but until then, take care and goodbye for now.